let's go straight to Arizona then, because for me, this was the toughest one to try to find a flaw with. There's something that I would just specifically say you need to improve. And as I kind of think about each of these teams and going through this exercise, I do feel like they might be the most complete team in the country. The first thing that I would do with Arizona, though, is I would give everybody a pronunciation guide, because they got some difficult names to say on that roster. And look, I'll be the first to admit I'm not great when it comes to pronouncing names, but the fact that Dalen Terry's name is Dalen and not Dallin, when we have like Dallin Cuff out here, like there's that is the one that I was kind of like, all right, I just give up. I'm never going to be able to pronounce anybody on Arizona's name. So Ashton, we're going to you first on this one. What are you giving Arizona for Christmas that's not a pronunciation guide?
So this was by far the toughest one for me. I simply just said health. If they stay healthy, there's no reason why they shouldn't be in the Final Four to me. From top to bottom, Ben Mathurin to Christian Koloko, like top to bottom, I think, it's hands down Baylor and Arizona. I think two of the best teams. I simply just said health, and I would just say the crowd, just making sure they get as many sellouts as possible at home. So just that home court advantage, consistent home court advantage, consistent sellouts, and then just staying healthy. If they stay healthy, I think the sky's the limit for them. They should easily be in the Final Four to me.
Yeah. What do you got, Steve?
I think number one, great success on the road. 6 of their next 8's on the road. So as good as they are, playing on the road in college basketball is not easy. So I think just the focus, especially their first road trip, it's at UCLA, at USC. They go to Tennessee next Wednesday. They go to Tennessee Wednesday. So I think focus and toughness on the road to start this new year. And then number two, to be able to continue to be good defensively so they can play in transition and people can't slow them down and get them stuck in a half-court game.
Yeah, so the one that I had written down was give Azuolas Tubelis about like a 10 to 12-point bump in his three-point shooting. He shot 31% from three last year. He's down to 22% this year. And I think so much of what they do it's basically what Gonzaga was last season. Tommy Lloyd coming from Mark Few. That's not surprising at all. But so much of what they do is built around kind of 4-round-1 with getting the big fella touches inside, whether it's Koloko or Marvallo. And I think having a 4-man that is going to make it so that you have to guard him on the perimeter instead of being a guy where it's like, yeah, we'll live with that shot, changes a lot of things for what they can be on that end. But to tell you, like, the only thing that I think that they can improve on is getting their 4-man to shoot what he shot last year from 3 is a pretty good sign for where this group is. The other concern I have, I'm curious what you guys think about this. Same thing with Baylor. Like, do they have enough creativity offensively? I love Kirk Risa, but like, do they have a backup point guard that we trust? I mean, Dalen Terry can kind of create, but he's not an on the ball kind of a guy. Like, is that something that we should be looking at as well?
I think the teams that, when you look at them, I'm not sorry to cut you off, Ashton, there, but their strength, their team, I think, is the big wings in the front court. The guard play is where if you're going to pick them apart, the guard play, when you talk to people that have played them or teams that study them or watch them a lot, the guard play is what that's the one piece you can kind of nitpick, and they've got to get them to be consistent and be good. Dalen Terry, he's got 42 assists on the year, only 9 turnovers, but Kier from George Mason, the transfer from George Mason, Georgia to Arizona, those guys got to step up as well as Caruso.
Yeah, I agree. They're similar to Baylor in that sense of, if one guy, gets in foul trouble, gets injured, anything happens. I like Krisa a lot. Obviously, Ben Mathurin. They have, Justin Kier is really good as well, but that's their Achilles heel. I agree with you, Rob, in terms of definitely having a backup playmaker at the point guard position that could really set the table. And you know how the game kind of slows down going into conference season, even in the NCAA tournament, where it's more half-court sets and really, late shot clock, can you really get a good shot? So I think that's a really good point.